Hi, welcome to Real Voices of Happy Valley. This chat is actually an extended version of Viv's interview with Kath Reade, first broadcast on Viv's Bookends radio show on Calder Valley Radio. That is www.caldervalleyradio.co.uk. You can hear the show on Listen Again, and it's broadcast on the first Friday of each month, 2 to 3 p.m, on the same website.
I'm sitting here in the lovely comfy living room of Kath Reade, and we're having a coffee and a chat. Hello, Kath.
Hello. Welcome to my lounge.
It's very nice, with some of your birthday presents on display.
Yes, 77 yesterday.
Oh, fantastic. Wow.
I know, quite sobering.
You're looking good on it.
Oh, thank you. Well, fortunately, this is radio, so people can't disagree with you.
True enough. And Kath's here as my guest, even though I'm her guest in her house, for the first Bookends show on Calder Valley Radio, where I will be talking to different authors in the area. So, Kath, give us a flavour of what you've written.
Well, I started late, really, in getting books published, so I'd like to say to anybody listening, it's never too late to write your book and get it published.
Yeah.
So I was about 74, I think I was, when
Really?
my first book was published.
Wow.
I've always written, though.
Yeah.
And when we've gone on holidays and journeys and adventures, I've always kept a journal. And it's been, you know that word, contemporaneously written down.
Yes.
So that things that you would have forgotten if later on you'd sat down and tried to remember, oh, what happened when I was in Florence? Where did I go, you know? Even down to the cafes and little exchanges with the waiter that were quite amusing. And, you know, it's all there in my journals, you see. So for my first book, I turned all of those journals into a rather exciting and entertaining travel book called Jumping Over My Shadow. So
nice title.
Yeah, the title is from when I jumped off a Swiss Alp. And I was strapped to a rather attractive Swiss man. And we were both in green flying suits, like a couple of Kermit-like creatures. And it was parascending, you know. And so I describe it in the book, but it really was an amazing experience. And so we were spiralling about over these forests and looking down on birds.
Wow.
And I was whooping with delight.
Yeah.
And all around were these snow-capped Alps. I mean, it was amazing. And then we came down like water gurgling down a drain pipe, you know, the kind of swirling round. That's how they land, these parasenders.
Right.
Into a meadow, which is in the middle of Interlaken.
Wow.
And it was absolutely amazing. So the very nice Swiss man wouldn't take all the money because he said to me, you really jumped over your own shadow.
Right, that's a lovely phrase.
So that became the title of the book.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. So was that the first one you wrote?
That was the first one, yes. And then the publisher decided it would be a good idea to take all the ones from the British Isles, because they're all over the world, these journeys that I've made. And he made a book consisting of the British Isles journeys.
Right.
So there were 2 new chapters in there, because I found some notes from when I was 19 and I hitchhiked to Greece.
Right.
And lots of, incidents, you know, befell me, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
A beautiful young auburn-haired creature sticking her thumb out at lorries and things on.
You wouldn't do it these days. Maybe
No,
you
but I
would if you
wasn't-
were 19 again, but I don't know.
I don't think
Times
so.
have changed.
They have.
haven't
That
they?
was the late 60s.
Yeah.
But it was a wonderful adventure, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I got a lift with going all the way down Italy, actually, to Brindisi to get the ferry to Greece. And I was in one of those tiny little Fiats that they have. They're quite popular over here now. The really small ones.
Yes, I know.
Is it Fiat 500? Or
Yeah,
something?
something like that, yeah.
Very small. And I got in, and the man had, in between me and him, was this enormous milk churn.
Right.
And I was crunched up against it, you know. And we were hurtling down the motorway from Rome downwards. And he couldn't speak English and I couldn't speak Italian. So I said, what's in here, you know, with signs. So he told me, and I didn't understand. So still not slowing down at all, he got a felt tip pen out of his pocket, and he drew on this milk churn a pair of horns and a sperm.
Oh, right.
So my legs quickly and automatically receded from this milk churn.
Yeah. So he was presumably taking it to a cow.
I imagine so.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was enough for me.
Yeah.
So I didn't inquire further.
No. Careful what you ask.
So there's all sorts of incidents like that in the book, but also much beauty and, you know, things about the beautiful Western Isles of Scotland. Lovely. So, yeah, that was my first book.
And when you're looking back through your diaries that you kept at the time, do you learn things about yourself and how you've changed, or haven't you? You know what I mean?
That's a very good question. You're getting very deep here in the morning.
I can't help
Viv.
myself, yeah.
I think I've learned a lot now, but I don't think it's necessarily from those travels.
No. So how did you find a publisher once you decided this would be good, you know, for people to read? How did you go about finding a publisher, and did you get many rejections?
Well, actually, I was involved in a small business colleagues exchange, and one of them told me about this particular publisher. He's not a big publisher, and he doesn't really do any publicity for you. So it's not the normal route, really.
But it got your
It
stuff out
wasn't
there.
self-publishing, but it wasn't publishing with these very big companies. So I've never actually done like J.K. Rowling. I believe she got 60 rejections
I'd heard that, yeah.
from publishers before. They thought she was no good. Imagine that.
I know. And that's where they're... Well, she never actually pretended to be a man, did she? But she didn't disabuse
No, that's
publishers
right.
or whatever, just using her initials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she did do some books as a male.
Yeah, the Robert Galbraith
That's
ones.
it. The
Yeah.
Cormorant Strike. Yeah.
I haven't read them. I've seen it on the telly.
Yes.
It's
I
okay.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, you know, sometimes when we get rejections, we take it personally and it can be very disheartening, but I didn't go that route. So.
No, well, that's good. So you're happy with... Do they... I mean, I don't know about book publishing. Do they publish lots of them? Do you get an advance? How does it work?
Well, I've had a very limited experience because I think this is probably a hybrid publisher who you have to pay some money to. Initially, I did pay not a lot, but some money to him to cover the cost of the printing and so on. And then he took charge of promoting it, but he promotes it on Amazon. And therefore that book became a bestseller in the travel category on Amazon.
Wow.
I don't know how he did that, but he did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was number one on travel across this country, Australia, America, Spain, Canada,
Gosh.
for some weeks, and it was up next to Bill Bryson.
I was going to say...
It's all a bit of a
Bill
mystery
Bryson.
to me, because I'm not really business-minded particularly, not on my own behalf. And then I wrote, after those two travel books, I wrote a book about meditation, which is called The Powerhouse of Meditation, From Stress to Vitality.
Right. Because you teach, is that the word, teaching meditation, where you lead classes in it? In the valley, don't you, in Hebden and Todd?
I do, meditation classes. I like to feel that they're a kind of shared experience, really, so I'm not lecturing at people. We're sharing. And I throw in some techniques so that people can try them out,
Yeah.
And I'm very committed to meditation. It's very important to me. It saved my life almost in times of stress. So I wanted to write this book, and the publisher saw that as a sort of, he said it was like a public service. But that's more of a niche thing, and if you write books that are niche, sometimes you don't really hit the number ones or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do it, and I sell them at all my events, retreats, and a lot of people have got them now,
Yeah, well, that's great. So you say all your events and retreats. Tell us a bit about that.
I was actually a teacher in colleges and universities, but I became a local politician in Burnley, and somehow I ended up as leader of the council.
Wow.
Without actually wanting to be. But somehow they inveigle you, don't they? And that was very good. I was quite good at that, actually, in terms of reducing crime in the town centre, getting a women's refuge built, and attracting jobs into the town, and all sorts of things. But you get the backstabbing, so I wasn't very good at handling the backstabbing, and that, although I didn't ever walk away, I always argued my corner in the council meetings and so on. Inwardly, it was taking its toll on me.
I can imagine, yeah.
So I then started going to meditation retreats down in Devon at Gaia House, which is the most wonderful place, looking out to Dartmoor, and you just don't speak for a week. You have all your meals in silence, everything's in silence.
Could you cope with that? I don't know if I could.
Of course not. But it's a life-changing experience.
Yeah.
And you seem to go through a lot of stuff which comes up during these silent meditations. And then you get moments of joy and bliss, and you begin to calm down, And there is this true story about this. This woman said to her little daughter, "I'm not going to my meditation tonight." And the little girl said, "Why not, Mummy?" And she said, "Well, I haven't got time." "Oh, Mummy, please go to your meditation class." And she said, "Well, why? Why do you want me to go?" "Because you're a much nicer Mummy when you've been to meditation."
Oh, that's nice. So you have your travel book and your meditation book. Are there any others, or have you got any in the pipeline?
Well, I'm writing 2 more at the moment, and one of them is called The Treasures of Your Being. And the other week I ran a building self-confidence workshop, So I thought I'd just test it out, you know.
Mm.
But I mean, it's basically saying that we're being bombarded with people telling us how to live and how to shorten our lives, how to lengthen our lives. Don't do this, don't do that. It's coming at us constantly through social media and so on. And it's like, let's go back to who we actually are and find our strength again and our own personality and character and be proud of it and live our lives according to who we truly are.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's really interesting because a lot of people don't feel as though there's authoritarian stuff going on, do they? They think, oh, I found this on the internet and, you know, it was like my choice to find it and to tidy everything up or declutter or to whatever it is. But you're right, you know, there is a kind of bossiness.
Yeah, I think it's the proliferation of businesses trying to make money by selling you various ways to lose weight, to make your skin look better, to get fitter. And then there's all this health stuff telling you that you're doomed if you do this or that. So it's just coming at you all the time. It's hard to know what to believe, really.
Yeah.
But I think overall there's this image that's difficult to resist about how, well, let me just speak of women, how women are supposed to look, although boys and men are also subject to this now. And I believe they are grooming more than they used to do. And
Oh, grooming just, in the sense of
personal
grooming. Yeah, sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me, no. I meant, you know, personal grooming.
Yeah.
The skin and this sort of thing. So, I don't know if people are happy with that. It may be me, I'm just old, and I think that it's just coming at people and making them feel inadequate. Feel like they're not enough. They've got to have this or do that before they look right, or you know.
Yeah, I mean, I saw an advert on the telly for some kind of moisturiser or makeup.
Yes.
Obviously aimed at women, but saying surgery can wait, and as though it was like a normal thing to do. You could just do it a bit later than you were going to, and I was horrified.
Yeah.
Because,
you can see anti-aging cream for the under 30s.
Oh. Yeah.
And you hear them say, oh, look, I've got lines on my face. We're a long way away from thinking of wrinkles as badges of experience and wisdom, aren't we?
We can keep trying. Like the Victoria Wood line when Julie Walters and her were in Debenhams or somewhere. Julie Walters is this snooty makeup seller. And she says, oh, look, your face is covered in lines. And Victoria Wood said, they're laughter lines.
Oh.
To which she says, nothing's that funny. That was years ago.
Yeah.
But it is that kind of nothing's that funny mentality, isn't it? You know, that lines are a thing.
And I think the way I've written this book is to say, let's go back and have quite a deep self-inquiry into what sort of person I actually am, as opposed to what sort of person people are telling me I've got to be. You know. You know.
I know, it's nice when you see in cultures where old women are celebrated and looked up to.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a book where you can dip into it and do your own self-inquiry into yourself and see where you are with all this, you know.
So
and it has a link to building up your own self-confidence.
So you're still working on that one then? That hasn't come out yet?
It's not come out yet. I've actually written it. And then I'm writing one which is, actually somebody told, when I told someone what it was about, they said, oh, you're writing a chick lit noir. Have you heard of those?
No, I've heard of Chicklet, I've heard of Noir, but not together.
Chicklet. So this is a book which is kind of a murder thriller, but it's more of a psychological one because you do actually know who's carried out the murders right at the beginning, and you go on the journey with her.
Wow.
As to what she's doing, why she's doing it, and the fact that the police have absolutely no insight at all into why they're being done.
That sounds fantastic. So, I'm hoping it's fiction. You don't actually know somebody who's done this.
It's my alter ego.
Right, okay.
Really. As a person who's been on many, many diets over many, many years and usually put it all back on again, there are people who I overhear in tea rooms saying, well, it's great really because I can eat anything I like and I never seem to put weight on.
Yeah.
Which, of course, in this person in the book brings her into somewhat of a homicidal rage.
Well, I love the sound of this. What's it called and when's it coming out?
Well, I'm not sure yet what it's called. It may be called the woman it's Olive Bridget Green.
Right.
Or it could just be called the Tea Shop Murders.
Yeah, that sounds cosy, Chicklet. Yeah, that sounds great. Well, so if people want to keep up with what you're doing, where and when, not in a creepy stalking way, if they just want to know.
I'm terrible
to
at all that.
contact you.
I'm terrible at all that. But I do have a website because my son is well versed in these matters and he had created one for me.
That's good. Yeah.
So it's www.kath, which is Kath, Reade, Reade, .co.uk.
Right, okay, that's fairly simple to remember.
And you can message me on that, it has that facility.
Yeah.
You can get my CDs as well.
Oh,
CDs
are you're a singer as well, aren't you?
Yeah, singer-songwriter. So I've made quite a lot of albums, but really you can get them on YouTube or Bandcamp and Spotify and iTunes, but also you can buy them on the website.
Right.
And you can buy these books on the website.
All right. That's brilliant.
Advert over.
Yeah. So we can keep up with what you're doing, what you're teaching, what you're singing. Woman of so many talents, Kath. It's fantastic.
Well, one thing I love to do is run these retreats that I've been running. So
yes, I went on one of them.
Yeah,
a few years ago. It was
wasn't
it? In Malham.
Malham.
Yeah.
Well, I'm now doing them in the Lake District.
Oh, right.
In Grasmere. And just a beautiful setting, you know. And I make sure that we've got somewhere that looks after you, and you have single ensuite rooms, and the food is absolutely marvellous.
Yeah.
You know. And so the sessions are really punctuated in between the meals.
Yeah.
And the coffee and cakes and the tea and biscuits.
Yeah.
And then we do Qigong, which is like Tai Chi, but very gentle, suitable for everybody. We do all different kinds of meditations. You might go out walking meditation amongst the trees, you know.
Yeah.
Or sitting meditation, all sorts of things. And then we do sound healing with Tibetan singing bowls and many different instruments, shamanic drumming, Native American flute, gongs. So when you combine those three things, you've got really a combination of stillness and gentle movement and sound and silence. And you come away very relaxed and refreshed.
Well, I can only speak for the one I went to, but that was the case there. I was relaxed and refreshed afterwards.
It's just 2 nights, you know, not too long.
But it's certainly worth you all having a look at what Kath's doing, because it's interesting, and you'll learn from it. So I think that's probably all we've got time for.
Well, thank you very much.
Probably overrun our time, but hey, you know.
It's been lovely.